Say, who's your favorite player?
Gabriel Longest Cock.
Oh, hey, look at you, friends.
Oh, hi.
Welcome to another edition of How Are You Now, the podcast where we talk about everything Letterkenny related, from Shorzy's chirps to McMurray's questionable behavior. We are the toughest podcast in Letterkenny, and we're here to talk about everything that makes this show a cult classic. So grab a puppers, get ready for some Hicks, Skids, hockey players, and Glenn. So, how are you now, Tiara?
Good news.
Oh, not so bad. So, what's been going on, kiddo?
I got a job.
You did.
I did.
You want to share about that job?
I am. Well, I took a contract for the last part of the school year to see if I can teach again and if I can stand it. So yeah, for at least 6 weeks, I will be a teacher again in Vancouver.
Right on.
And yeah.
Fun.
Yeah.
And hello, Casey.
Hi,
We're happy to
Casey.
see you. And she's telling you congratulations.
Thank you.
But
But like for the record, not a woman. It's okay.
Warman. Anyway, yeah, and I got my first voice acting gig.
Yes. Actually paid. And
Actually,
everything.
yeah, a whole paid one. So doing there's a fella making a indie animated movie, 3D animated movie, cop stuff.
No apologies needed. I haven't really talked about that much on here. So
Yeah.
thank you.
But so yeah, we'll see it when it comes out, and hopefully. And then he's also talking about making a sequel already. So
cool.
we will we'll see how that goes. So, and yeah, you got anything else going on?
I don't know. Do I?
I don't know. Do you?
I don't know.
Well,
What am I forgetting?
I don't know.
Okay.
You're cute.
Oh, thank you.
And for those who haven't heard already, we have a new phone number. The one that we had before Ferda has been got gone, unfortunately. But we have a new one now, which is 503-487-2789. You can leave us a voicemail, send us a text, whatever. It's also 50-FIT party. So if you want to have a fit party with us, go ahead and do so. So we have another new guest that we've never had on. We've been chatting with him for some time.
Yes.
But let's welcome to the class Tres Webb. Tres, how are you, my friend?
I'm good. How are y'all?
Oh, not so bad.
Shit.
Well, no, Dean did it wrong.
No, I did it wrong.
Dean did it wrong.
Well, I did it.
Well, I wasn't able to bring it back either. So,
Well, I mean, I could just say, how are you now?
good. And you?
Oh, not so bad. So Tres, for those who have not met Tres before, he's been seen and heard on our good friends Produce Stand podcast. What else are you up to? What do you do when you're not Letterkennying?
When I'm not Letterkenny, I sell big Freightliner trucks. I sell the parts for those things.
Oh,
All right then.
those are heavy.
Duty. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Duty.
And I in the meantime, I write and watch entirely too much TV, and that's about the size of it.
What else are you watching aside from Letterkenny?
Oh,
And Shorzy,
of course. Let's see. I don't know. I haven't. Whatever comes up. There was a 2010 to 2014 show that was on A&E called Glades, and I've binged that, and it's good, but nobody apparently watched it, or otherwise
I've
it's
never heard of it.
Oh no, there was literally, I didn't know about it, and it's apparently been off the air for 10 years, and I just stumbled across it, and it's just something else I've been watching. I watched Ted Lasso.
Oh yeah.
Right? We're
Yeah,
not up to date on that. We
we-
have an episode or two, I think.
Well, we have one from
last week,
and then we'll have tonight's, right?
Yes.
Because they do on Sunday, right?
I think
I
so.
can't talk about it. Okay.
Yeah,
I know. I feel bad about that one.
We've only watched the
The season opener.
yeah. But yeah, it's a great show. I love it, and it's sad that it's going to be the final season. At least as that's what they've said. That the season 3 was going to be the final season, but you know, who knows? I mean, maybe he'll come back and he's now actually a soccer coach in the States. So
Never know.
yeah, that would be interesting. So
Oh, yeah.
tell us your Letterkenny journey. How did you get caught up in it and find the podcasts and whatnot?
The year was 2020, and right, and it was October or so, and I had a sinus infection and went to the doctor, and they told me I had COVID, and I was like, "What?" And at the time, you know, everybody freaking out about it. I thought,
Sure,
that's it. I'm going to be dead in 5 days, so I'm
Yeah.
going out. But I had off work for 10 days, and I was just flipping channels, and I think I had watched, you know, every History Channel thing that was on, and I was just bored senseless. And I saw the Letterkenny thing, and I was like, I think I'd seen one of the Letterkenny, the original Letterkenny Problems thing
The
on
shorts?
the shorts,
YouTube?
yeah. And I was
Yeah.
like, oh yeah, I remember that. That was kind of funny. And then I just watched it, and I spent the rest of my quarantine falling in love with the show. So I was like, this is great. And like any good thing, I was like, I wonder if there are people out there talking about this. And so,
Couple of us.
of course,
Couple of
like
us.
everybody else, I run across that first Letterkenny
Oh, sure.
podcast that,
Arish.
I mean, yeah, I know
Yeah, he
I
was
think
the
you
first
mentioned
one.
it. Yeah, and Al had mentioned it, that, you know, he's a nice enough guy, but
Oh, sure.
I don't know, he's not that
He-
good a podcast. And then I stumbled across the produce stand, and I was like, oh, this is cool, and all that stuff. And I think I had heard when you first came on for one of the recaps, and he
Uh-huh.
goes,
Okay.
oh, this dude's got one too, awesome. So I come on yours, and I was like, whoa. This is like, I mean, at first I thought it was chaotic, and then I found it the most entertaining thing I'd ever heard.
Well, we
And I
try to
was
be
like,
we try to be a little
Chaotic
chaotic
good.
good. Yeah.
Chaotic
So-
good.
yeah, no, but I mean, it was like, and not only that, but y'all were talking like the deep cut stuff that was where, you know, things as far as, you know, social things that were
Sure.
implied on there and all that stuff. And I was like, well, that's really cool too. That's, I mean,
Yeah.
and
There's a lot of
got,
people who don't think about those things or don't
Mhm.
pick up on those things that we just
oh, sure,
know,
sure.
yeah.
But-
That's probably the main negative comment we get is that people don't see it, and then they hear our podcast and they're
And-
like, we're reading into it.
and say we're virtue signaling.
We actually,
But
you
anyway.
know,
Oh,
have
come
it
on. I
on
mean,
pretty good authority at this point that we're pretty on, you know, point for a lot of the stuff we say.
well, not only that, but I mean, if calling it fairly, I mean, they don't bury it that deep or anything.
No,
I
they
mean,
don't.
really don't.
They don't.
I mean, you don't have to look hard to find where they're going with it, but
You almost have to be actively not looking for it to not see it.
Yeah.
right. But the thing that continues to keep me absolutely in love with Letterkenny, other than all the other aspects of it, is just the sheer cinematic quality of everything, which is leaps and bounds above anything else I've seen on TV.
Yeah.
I mean, to the point where last year I did a show on the produce stand, was the top, I think I found 7 of them, the top 7 episodes, or the top 7 scenes that have no words in it, and it's all visual storytelling.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Which, you know, when I brought it up, Al was game, and I think it was my brother. He goes, so you're going on a podcast to talk about a show where there's no words in the scenes? And I was like, Yeah, that's what I'm doing.
No, that's because that
Really,
means you
yeah.
get to tell the story of
Yeah.
the scene.
Right.
So
Right.
there's a story there. It's just not spoken.
Right. And I mean, just the editing, the cinematography,
Oh yeah.
and it in my little film nerd heart just hits me right there.
Right on.
That's
No, I
that's
get it.
why that's what I love about that.
Yeah, I totally get it. And I love how like Buttrey is out there and just listening to everybody.
Mhm.
And the stuff that he does, his eye is great. And I and whoever is doing the editing and the crossovers between scenes and just that it's seamless. And
Oh yeah.
it's like on this episode, even it's got some great
Oh yeah.
scenes. Oh yeah.
I got a note on that.
Yeah. Oh yeah. But so let's start getting forward in the show. So last episode we had our good buddy Casey, who you've seen pop up on here a bit. Hang on, what is Andrew's? There's a gay wedding and the beat up character called Hard Rate J. You have to be watching different show to miss it.
Agreed. I have basically used that argument many times because that's what it feels like. It's like, how are you missing this?
But anyway, so yeah, last week with Casey, who we went over Okoye on, which was a very funny episode. We had a great time with Casey, and finding out about tonguing the V and all that kind of good stuff. It was a blast. It was hilarious. And if you haven't seen that clip from the show, go watch it
or listen. Forget that this is a podcast.
Yeah, watch it. I mean, but watching it is also hilarious. So
absolutely.
But yes, thank you, Casey, for making that. So, but yeah, any other opinions on Okoye before we move on to the episode at hand?
You didn't tell me I was going to have to top tonguing the V.
Well, that's hard to do. I don't know if there's any topping that, but yeah, I'm only talking to my dog today. That's the shirt for the show. So anyway,
but they're locked in the other room. So
yeah. So, well, I talked to him earlier.
That's true.
So we kick off this episode as we do with the cold open. This time at Modine's, and with Bonnie there kicking it off about at the bar. So Reilly and Jonesy and Avi meet up at Modine's for lunch. Bonnie comes to the table and gives them all their new hockey themed menu. They go through a list of hockey players / food name crossovers from Corey Perrier to Yagomir Lager and Bloody Marion, and a Bloody Marion that is Chris Letangey with Dill Kessel. Then Gail finally tries to have them come to a decision.
Main chain courses.
How's a sloppy Joe Thornton?
It's got Parmesan Couturier with diced radish Vibrata and turnip Stevenson.
And to think we were just going to whip up some RJ Umberger helper?
Yeah, and they go a little bit deeper, and there's so many hockey names. I mean, most of them I didn't get, but I'm sure, hockey people, which, Canadians especially, will get that. But as the ordering wraps up with their choice of desserts, with Bonnie and Gail closing out the cold open as I did up at the top of the show.
Say, who's your favorite player?
Gabriel Longest Cock.
Because you can always count on Gail for a good cock joke. Am I not wrong?
No,
Am I wrong?
That was what I was going to say.
So from there, we're still at Modine's while the Hicks are seated at a table. Stuart and Rold come in asking what's going on. Katie informs them that Thibodeau's dog is lost and that he's doing nothing about it. The dog apparently first belonged to Jive and Pete. The dog ran away. He gave up on it. Now the same thing with Thibodeau. Rold is very concerned about the dog's health. Rosie assures Rold that they will find it. Katie then states that not only do they have Rosie, but they've got Glenn. Just then, Glenn rolls out the kitchen wearing his usual attire, except for a jungle hat and carrying a poster board with the information about the lost dog. Glenn then announces...
As I'm sure you all know, I added dog trapping to my wildly impressive skill sets at the age of 17 whilst doing missionary work in Puerto Escondido.
I didn't nose that.
It's in his Twitter bio.
Twitter is a cult.
From there, Glenn details everything about the dog and how they will find it using information that's on his poster. One of the things that we also find out, the dog's name is Gregory. Cue the admonishment of using human names for dogs. And a bit more discussion. After a bit more discussion, they decide they will break up into two small groups to find the dog, leaving Dan, Rold, and Stewart behind to consult with Dan's sweetie Ellen to read the tea leaves to see if she can help psychically. That's because they're all too emotional about the dog.
I am Dan in that scene. I am not emotional.
So from there we go to the basement. Reilly and Jonesy are standing in the gym, bummed out because they got stood up for their gym date, and after they spend a moment lamenting that they'll never get to know how hot what the steez is or how hot their girls were, they show up. April and May. They apologize for being late. However, it's now time for Reilly and Jonesy to go to their beer league hockey game, and April and May say, "Oh, we'll go." Reilly and Jonesy explain to them that is a bad idea.
Usually there's only one clueless guy who'll bring his sweetie to his beer league game, and that means there's one lone rocket sitting solo in the stands. And if that clueless guy isn't on our team, I'm finding out who that guy is on the other team, and I'm chirping that guy all night.
See, I'll know who the clueless guy is halfway through warm-up, and I'll be getting right in his kitchen all night long.
The boys then tell them they'll give them a rain check and run off. April and May are astonished and bewildered that they've been ditched and plan for some payback. Then we go outside where we join the search teams as they discuss in more details of the particular breed and how they might be able to might hide and how far they may travel and other things that the dog may do while lost. Then we cut to the skid basement where Ellen has come to the skids and to help Dan, Stewart, and Rold with their psychic search. She gives the instructions to Rold for handling the teacup. Ellen starts her investigation into the leaves. That she sees that the dog has been injured, is confined, and she sees the letters D, A, and N. She then shows the tea leaves and asks,
"Do you think this looks like a dick?"
So, because that I'm sure that plays something into it. We will see. From there, we go back to the hockey barn. Reilly and Jonesy are on the ice, waiting their game to start. Just then, April and May enter, looking just like a couple of puck bunnies. We find out that someone is back. And Letterkenny back, maybe.
Fucking clueless pieces of shit brought their broads to watch them play beer league.
Yeah, Shorzy is right on top of it. April and May then make a show of it that Reilly and Jonesy invited them to come watch, thanking them profusely for allowing them there. We're back outside where the search continues with each of the groups. More information is learned about how lost dogs react while lost. We also learn how to react to a lost dog once they're found, including how to say their name in a way that they are not used to.
Fucking clueless.
Nope.
So you want to give each syllable a different tone.
Shake things up a little.
Make it sing-songy.
Try it.
You try it. Try it.
You try it.
Gregory.
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 You're not supposed to give dogs human names.
Ooh, look over there. Some flattened down grass in a twisted pattern.
Sheltered from the wind, close to a fence line.
And look, horses.
Horses. From there we go back to the hockey barn. The game has begun. It's back to Shorzy and chirps of fuck you, Shorzy, and
Fuck you, Shorzy. Fuck you, Jonesy. Your mom gave me an over-the-pants handy at the mall and then cried when I cleaned myself up with the racy top she got at Siren.
so it's good to see Shorzy back. We cut back to the skid basement where Ellen, Dan, Stewart, and Rold are all still trying to figure out what the D and A and N means. Just as Dan gets a call, Dan takes the call, hangs up, and after a long pregnant pause, Dan lets them know, oh, they found Gregory. Where now we all arrive at the Dick farm. Everyone's gotten together, and we find out how the Dicks ended up finding Gregory. Gregory was not well when they found him, but Anita tended him with Noah explaining only how he can about how it was done. The Dicks informed them how they had temporarily given the dog the name of Sunshine, but assumed that they are all there to take the dog back. After a very quick discussion, they asked the Dicks if they'd like to keep him. This makes them very happy.
We'll continue to tend to him day to day. I'm surprised that mine wife didn't become a doctor, for it would seem as though she can't resist an open gash.
My husband knew I was many things when he married me, but I can assure you a gash lover was not one of them.
It's true.
And then close credits. It's a silly episode, but it's I mean it's great. It's hilarious, and we learned some things about dogs. So thoughts, theories, trivia, observations, questions that any of y'all came up with. Let's see, we got a comment from someone here. Demond saying, I can't stay, just want to say I love you all. We love you too, Demond. Can't wait to see you again.
So this was not my favorite this season. This was probably my least favorite episode of the season, and not just because of the Shorzy shit. Like, I love Shorzy the show, but I've never been a fan of Shorzy the character,
The Letterkenny character, yeah.
So like there were two things that were big strikes for me for this episode, and it's the chicks who stood up, Reilly and Jonesy, and then Shorzy. And like I'll get to all of that, but like I wanted to put that out there that I got a lot of good stuff, but
sure.
It's not my favorite episode.
How about you, Tress?
I did like this episode. I'm with TR in the sense that Shorzy was just sort of out of nowhere with no context. Yeah. And I mean, that's fine. I mean, he was basically out of nowhere with no context this whole run of the show. But, I mean,
the three-dimensional character is a lot better than the one-dimensional Shorzy that we get. Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, it's weird. I mean, which I guess people can argue all they want about the time framing of Shorzy, and I don't want to get into that, but
oh yeah, there's plenty of discussion about that, and I think we are all aware that Letterkenny resides in a timeline all of its own.
Absolutely,
and it's very wibbly wobbly.
I was just gonna say
Jeremy
it's very
Bearimy.
much like ooh, Jeremy Bearimy. I feel like that's a crossover that I need to see.
Anyway, go ahead, Chris.
But it was like, and I don't mean to judgmental, especially if it's a different timeline, but we've seen Shorzy now. I mean, I'm not trying to say that the shtick is pointless,
it's one of the show's tropes, like we were talking about in other episodes this season. It's a trope that they bring back over and over.
But we've all seen Shorzy. The veil's off now. I mean, it's like
no, and you're not wrong. And I mean, I think maybe I don't know if this one of the things that I said last episode is this maybe them talking about these are the tropes that we've always done, and now we're maybe bringing these to a close to maybe do some new stuff on the show. Who knows? It could be that they'll keep some of the regular stuff, but they've had these tropes for a long time. I mean, we're 11 seasons in. It wouldn't be, I know a lot of people that's what they come for, the allegedlys and the fuck you Thibodeau's
and the to be fair
and
and they're actually pretty good at keeping them as fresh as they can. And I've always appreciated that even when they get into a sort of what's the word, a self-realized version of it, like we know it's a trope,
right?
And they have fun with it, but
but
it's like I remember watching it this morning because I was reacquainting myself with it. I was watching the cold open, and I remember going, this is probably how those people that have no idea what wrestling is felt about that other cold open, because I'm just sitting there going, no, I sort of remember that guy.
I know Gretzky.
Oh, Cam Neely, he was in Dumb and Dumber. Oh yeah, and I don't know any of these other people. I bet this is funny as hell if you know hockey. But
yeah, exactly.
So I chalked it up to me and not to the particular writing.
Oh no.
I mean, because I was sitting there, because I heard some people go, I don't know anything about hockey. I don't think this is funny. It's probably funny if I knew anything about hockey, but so that's on me. But
yeah, I mean, if it had been football players, I would have been probably cracking up.
Right.
But
I don't know if there's anything that would like work for me because
Derby players that you've known.
But here's the thing. Which era of Derby?
Yes.
Because I've been in several of them.
There you go. Any of them. Some of them. I mean, you could probably hear some football players and get those.
I would know quite a few from the last 16 years.
And I have no regrets about that.
And the Seahawks
no
from
regrets,
the 80s.
Keith.
There's some Seahawks from the 80s that I definitely like. I would recognize their name. You know. And some Mariners. So baseball. I had to think about that. That's terrible. Yeah, so speaking of the cold open, I love seeing Bonnie getting more into the tropes like the cold open. She's this season, even when it's just like her stepping in on the screen for 2 minutes, like in episode 1, she's really kind of got more dimension to her character this season than we've really seen before. So I like that. Like, helps keep it fresh by having people like Gail and Bonnie doing the cold open instead of the same 3 or 4. Let's see. So I don't know, I've never really explained my process of doing this, but basically, like, he does kind of a basic script that is, when he's reading all of that, and I will take that script and I will write all over it as I'm watching the episodes and just little
Go
details.
ahead and hold it up.
See
Show it to the camera.
Like,
a little bit closer.
Good note taking.
There's some good notes.
I mean, it's not quite awesome worthy.
It's not as good as like an episode that I really get into. Like, there have been some episodes where I had like covered the paper plus paper in my notebook that I would have to go through. Those are usually not awesome episodes because that's awesome level. So anyway,
and then she'll leave them in my
I'll leave them in
there.
here, and magically they get picked up and recycled. It's so great.
I slip on them while doing voiceover.
When
Aaron says
yes, right. It's don't show the kids this because I would not want them to write their notes like this because it makes sense to me.
Yeah, just write it in the textbooks.
This is basically how I used to write in textbooks. Yeah. Rosie looking at Wayne and laughing when Glenn says his name. And then I went back and watched the scene again to see everybody. And they're all giggling and Wayne is closing his eyes. And I love that because they're all like, oh, there he did it. Like, they all know Glenn's going to be like, Wayne, no matter how, calm he is and everything else. I also love that he did rolled first and then did everybody back to Stuart, then back to Wayne instead of like doing this group and then that group. So he kept looking back and forth.
He always saved the best for last.
Wayne is always the best.
Wayne.
Roldy getting emotional about a dog. What if that dog is hurt and like really?
I wish I could make my voice that high. Just
right.
What if he's hurt?
But then you gotta be angrier. He was like angry, worried about it. The way Stuart said boy after the Hicks said it, he tried to say it like they did, and it was like boy.
Am I saying this right?
I love it. Roldy trying to open up and everyone just like walking past him and going off, and then sitting down next to Dan and saying, Mr. Dan, which I've actually think I've heard him call that before. So which makes the whole thing later even funnier. Okay, and then Tassie and Cassie. Are you sure? That was
yeah. I even though I hated the new the new ones, April and May.
I hate this whole thing. R&J was stood up. They just don't deserve what happened. Like, so you admit being late is super tacky. Why didn't you call? Like, that's what I've written all over here. Like, why didn't you fucking call? You just expect them to then keep going off with you.
And the thing that came to my mind as that was happening is what would Bonnie McMurray have done? What would Bonnie have done? Well, WWBD.
She wouldn't still be there waiting for them.
No,
if they, the
no,
boys
no,
were
no,
waiting
no,
there all
no. No, I'm
afternoon.
saying if she was one of those girls.
Oh, being late?
Yeah, she would never be late. And if she was, she would have called.
Oh, yeah.
So I think that's a good standard. What would Bonnie McMurray do? So
I like that. Yeah, April and May, I hated almost immediately. And like their
You're
characters,
mean.
that's just they are every mean girl rolled up in, and I'm sure that was done like that on purpose.
I knew Casey was going to say that.
Every episode is fucking perfect, but sometimes more sometimes
more
other
perfect.
ones are more perfect than others. Yeah.
a little bit more perfect.
Like there's a lot of really great stuff in here, and I have notes about great stuff, but like I didn't take notes about the Shoresy stuff because I was just like, there's nothing new to write about that.
I mean, I got one of them chirps in there, and that's you get what what you're getting with Shoresy.
Yeah. Oh, let's see. So when they're drinking tea in the skid basement, the way the framing is and the camera went around them just continuously through the whole thing, so you were constantly getting a different point of view. I love that, and that's where you saw the pillow.
Yeah, there's two
background.
things about that I noticed. One, Roald only turned the teacup around twice.
Oh, right.
I noticed that too this morning.
And
that's
the
not
pillow,
3 times.
the pillow on the chair behind Stuart, and I'm sure this has probably been there for a while, and I just finally noticed it, appears to be made from the fabric of the FAQ costumes.
The stripes.
It's got the stripes. Yeah.
Sparkly and had the right colors. It's been a minute, so Awesome probably is already on top of checking that for us. But that is what it appeared to be.
Yeah. Definitely.
So again, a lot of the stuff I write down is what their faces look like. Dan blushing when Ellen says he should call more, but quickly getting angry at the skids because they were like sex. So he had the angry face, but it was like, just beautiful. I fucking love his face.
He's doing that little.
Yep, and then immediately it's like, and then I have another about Dan's face. Dan's face when Roldy says that he thought his first name was Squirrely, but then he answers the phone immediately after as Squirrely Daniels. Like never once tells him how he's wrong. Just makes a face like, you really thought that? Like, how could you think that? Squirrely Daniel.
Squirrely Daniel's phone.
Sure
Squirrely Daniel speaking.
At least at one point in our journey, we're like, is his first name Squirrely?
We don't get any to discharge
Right.
until we get to the dicks.
That is a little bit later. That is with the dicks. That is right.
You get some discharge from the dicks.
Charge.
Hey now.
Hey now.
I agree with Stuart. Oh, this was from earlier, another read through, so it's out of order. But I agree with Stuart with the so he said, why isn't Thibodeau doing anything? And then
Is Tibbet doing anything about it?
And then anyway, it comes back to like Rosie says only 3% of dogs go to their owners after MDS sets in, and so Stuart goes, well, then it's a moot point, which Katie immediately was like, who the fuck are you? Really venomous. Like, he's not wrong. Like, if it's been 5 days, the owner probably is not the best one to be out there looking for his dog. Why are you mad at him? And then the last thing I wrote down was, why is Jonesy not securing his helmet when he's on the ice? But all I could think of is right. He's had so many, he's hit his head so many times. Like the helmet's just there for show. Like, so yeah.
What's the over/under on number of concussions between the two of them?
It would have to be between the two of them, though.
As somebody who's had more concussions than I really should have ever gotten close to, it's probably like 3 times me.
Yeah. So yeah, and just a couple other things that I noticed from this. That The opposing team, if you didn't know,
Okay.
if you didn't notice, for the Reilly and Jonesy are on the no regretskis. The opposing team was the Yard Sailors, Sailors, so sailing themed. And Noah, if you hadn't noticed, appears to have stopped averting his eyes from Katie.
Right.
So he didn't seem to have a problem. I mean, Katie and Rosie were also right there together, both showing their midriff. So didn't seem to have a problem this time. And maybe it's just because Anita was just so excited about having a dog and being in Gash.
I didn't write anything down about
And
the
scissoring,
dicks.
lots and lots of scissors.
Lots of scissoring. Yes.
Learning how to scissor from thine mother.
Mothers and daughters and scissoring.
and swinging.
And
Swinging with each other's parents.
Yeah.
Yikes.
Oh man.
I don't
so
want to
cool.
swing with your mother. Right?
But I guess for me on this particular episode, what I really like is, and it was, I bet the 27 cents in my pocket right now that it was by design is Wayne took a serious back seat on this episode. I mean, he was there, as maybe some sort of anchor, but the front section, it was basically Glenn and everybody else doing it, and then there was that
Glenn and Rosie.
Yeah, Glenn and Rosie. And Glenn and Rosie throughout the beautifully edited, beautifully filmed tracking shot of them walking, which so cool. And even then, Wayne's just sort of in the background. He'll throw a one-liner in here and there, but
he absolutely was a secondary character in this episode.
Right. And
yeah,
and Glenn, and more to the point, Rosie. This was really like Rosie front and center on an episode, and I was just I absolutely love that. I mean, because it's all about building this community of characters that they can draw from. And in the end, well, you just put the camera on Jonathan Torrance and Sarah Wayne Callis and like get out of their way. So
I love Sarah Wayne Callis so much and how excited her character Anita would be, and I'm like, she is
so
fucking
cute.
adorable.
She was so cute, jumping up and down at the end. Like, I was just like, I would fall in love with her. I understand. She's so fucking cute. Oh my god.
And I really like the Skids Basement episode where it's basically just it's a trope you've seen in other shows, and sometimes on this where you just characters who never really interact.
Yeah.
We're going to throw them in a scene together and see what happens.
I love that.
I really loved this one too because Dan is funny and playing off the Skids as almost the straight man in the room was so great. Like, when they first sat down next to him and then they started giggling and he's like, well, guess I'm driving. Like,
I guess I'll drive.
I guess I'll drive then. Like, it was so fucking perfect. Like, I felt that. Like, he was like, well, they are more fucked up than I am. So yeah.
And it's always, cool to see stuff like that. And, or was Derry even in this episode?
No, he was not.
Oh, okay. Because I didn't think so, but I thought.
No.
But I really like, first of all, full disclosure, I have 5 dogs. 5 fairly large dogs. And, this episode, of course, resonated with me because, I'd be a Dan, like you were saying, Tara. If I lost one of my dogs, I would be a Dan. I would search, but I would not be useful searching for it. I'd just be wandering in a big circle, hoping it just shows up. And
fucks yous, Thibodeau's.
Yeah, no kidding. But I also wouldn't just, when I got them back, I just wouldn't wrap them up in a blanket in front of the fireplace. I'd be like,
true story.
I'd be standing outside the vet's office waiting at 6 a.m, waiting to open up. But so I really felt, as far as the dog thing goes, and even having 5 dogs, they said a lot of things I didn't even realize. Like, well, I don't think I'll ever. First of all, proud to say all 5 dogs, not a one of them has a human name.
We kind of with Sue, but Sue was a boy named Sue. That was from a Johnny Cash song. So we weren't naming him after
His full name was a boy named Sue.
Yeah, his full name was a boy named Sue.
Well, that's cool.
So
which one was the son of a bitch that named him Sue?
That was me.
There we go.
There you go. Just checking.
I had to, like, where do I point? Because I point this way where he actually is. It does not look like it. So I have to
Right.
Let me fix that for you.
Oh.
There you go.
There we go. Yeah, it's him. There we go.
But yeah, I mean, just the editing alone on that walk, where it's a single basic line of dialogue shared between two people through editing, and I don't know what that means, Casey. Anyway,
the months of April and May are significant.
Why
to
are they
Shorzy.
significant to Shorzy?
And then hashtag just saying. You're gonna have to explain that.
You're gonna have to hashtag just explain it.
Anyway, you were saying.
But I mean, it was just this single line of dialogue, and of course, the craziest part about it is, it's a whole tracking shot both ways, and it's edited so perfect that it's seamless, and the lines of dialogue just are in the back and forth is just so perfect. This really got my vote for, like, that's some good editing right there.
Oh yeah. The first couple of times, well, because I've already been on Produce Stand for this season, so I watched the whole season already, not like usual, we do it one at a time. So the first time now I'm trying to remember what was my fucking point. Dean,
yes.
What was my point?
I don't know what your point was. I
love it when this happens to me.
I'm interested to hear as well.
Dean.
What was I saying though? What were the words? Sorry, this happens
first time you
sometimes.
watched it?
Probably being autistic. Okay, so the first couple of times I usually watch the episode, I'm not paying attention to the screen. I'm just listening to the dialogue, listening to what they're saying, identifying who's in the episode or in each scene and that sort of thing. And that scene, when you are not looking at the screen, it absolutely feels like all of them are just having the exact same conversation in a group. And then when you watch it and you see how it's back and forth between the two so perfectly, I love how that was done, because it does not feel in any way like it's two different conversations. It's the exact same conversation. We're just seeing it in two different places.
Until it gets to the point where they start Gregory-ing back and forth, and you're like, oh, that was so cool how they came out of the editing part into.
Yes.
And I wanted to point out that Clark Bacco, she's got a good sounding.
She's got a strong voice.
Yes, I would like to.
It's probably like an alto, or maybe like a.
I would like to hear her sing.
Yeah.
Yeah. They should do a karaoke night. I want to see Wayne sing too.
Oh my God, I love that. What would Wayne sing in karaoke?
You want to hear him singing as Wayne? That monotone,
Yes, exactly. What would he sing though? Like, what would be Wayne's go-to karaoke song? Like, I feel like Katie's would be something like sexy, like Samantha Fox or something like that.
Naughty girls need love.
You just made 13-year-old Trace very happy.
We just heard that the other day, and I was like, oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Like maybe Merle Haggard, maybe, or like I feel like he's old country.
A little old Okie from Muskogee,
or like Mama Tried.
Mama tried to raise me better, but her pleading night.
He could do Boy Named Sue.
Yeah,
he could.
Yeah,
it's kind of
because it's a talkie, yeah. Or
Sunday Morning Coming Down or something.
Chris Christopherson flavor, yeah.
Well, I mean, you gotta think he can't sing any worse than Chris Christopherson.
I like Chris.
Don't get me wrong, I love him as an absolute songwriter.
Yeah,
love him, but wow. I mean,
there are a lot of singers that got contracts that it's like, how, especially in that era, like.
Well, yeah. I mean, Merle.
Chris Christopherson was also a beautiful man, So, and
But Merle wasn't even that, wasn't that great of a singer. I mean, he just came out of prison as well. So, but
as much as we
I
love
think
him, Johnny wasn't a great singer.
It's the stories.
Yes,
the stories
Oh,
that
yeah,
they told.
definitely.
That was the thing. And it wasn't stories about pickup trucks and dogs and drinking beer.
Well, that's because
they
nowadays,
weren't David Allen Coe.
Nowadays there's no problems that they have. So it's,
but,
yeah. I don't know, man. It's like
I
do like some country music, but most of it is just like a constant reminder of what that's not that. I mean, I guess to some people it seems a tad exotic from some backwards sort of thing, like pickup trucks and trains. It's just a Tuesday, man.
I mean, trains I'll go with because of Folsom Prison, but I could almost hear Wang doing one piece at a time.
Oh yeah.
Which one was that one?
That's about him building the car. It's made out of all different kinds of pieces of car.
64, 65, 66, 67, 68.
Yes. I could absolutely see him
because it's got numbers in it.
Yeah.
That's the perfect autistic song.
But no, when it's Kiso on the back end of it, it'd have to be somebody. Oh, he could do I've Been Everywhere by Hank Snow, Canadian.
There you go.
If he could talk that fast, he could pull that off.
Everywhere, man. I've been everywhere, man.
Yes, agreed.
Nice.
Anyway,
we figured it out.
I have a question that that I would like both of your opinions on.
Uh-oh.
So Cassie and Tassie Juniors, I'll call them April and May. How would you have handled that if it was you and Reilly and Jonesy's situation?
I wouldn't have still been there when they showed up.
Well, I mean, you didn't know they were going to show up.
Right.
Oh, you mean when they showed up to the
I wouldn't
gym?
have waited for them. The boys were there all afternoon waiting for their date and talking about getting stood up because they had been there waiting. I would not have waited that long.
Oh, okay. But let's say you had waited and you told them the whole explanation like Reilly and Jonesy did.
Mm-hmm.
How would you handle it once they showed up to the game?
I'd have a scrap. I'd have a scrap.
That's a derby scrap on site.
I would channel my displeasure into my game.
My thought on it was that I would have told Shorzy that that these are just some really strange chicks and they've been hounding them all the time. So just go chirp at them the entire time. Be as vulgar as possible about it.
I feel like Shorzy would have just flirted with them. Like I don't see him doing that.
You don't see him. Maybe the
it's
other
more
guys.
fun for him to chirp at the boys than it is to chirp at pretty girls.
Yeah, I mean, I would have pretended I don't care and just say these chicks are weird. And I mean, go chirp at them if you want to. They probably like some really weird stuff. I would go with that if you're gonna try.
Right. I'd probably just tell one of the other guys, when they start chirping me about it, going, I got no idea. It's all yours. Go ahead. You're my guest.
Get after it.
Yeah, get after it.
That's a takedown. Yeah, they're too young for Shorzy.
Yeah, I was thinking about watching the show.
Good point, Adrian.
He did. What do you say, dibs or digis? But
yeah, he did. He did say that.
They're not his normal.
They
type.
do look older than Cassie and Tassie.
Cassie and Tassie they look young.
I gotta agree with you on that one, especially in that particular scene where you had April and May, and then they shoot back to Cassie and Tassie. It was like, wow, they look really young back there. Like
compared to the two, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's like I guess maybe it was just a contrast compare thing, but I was like, they look like 17 or 16 or something like that. I was like, this is thrown off the entire past seasons now. I mean, this is all wrong.
Well, I often wonder, just in each particular episode, as we've discussed, there is no time in Letterkenny. Every episode is at the exact same time and a different time at the same time.
Yep.
This is
but
2023. No, it's not.
It's 2015.
No, it's not.
It's not 2015. But just how that I lost my train of thought. I got derailed.
I'm not the only one.
But just all the stuff that Shorzy does and says, and and always wondering how old somebody is at that particular episode. That's where I was going with that. It's like, so this episode resides somewhere in the universe at some point in time. How old are these people at this particular time? So like episode 1 is not too far, can't be too far after high school for Wayne anyway, because they're just talking about, that they were high school sweeties.
But it was like 7 years or something like that they were together. So they were at least.
It's like 2 years after, I want to say, wasn't it?
I think it was a little bit longer than that. Again, we need Awesome, who does not watch us live. Damn it, Awesome. It's your fault.
She doesn't care anymore.
I remember having that discussion like early on where we were trying to figure out how old they were. And at one point we did settle on an age.
Well, I mean, if you look at the script that we got from Letterkenny Live for the pilot episode, they do talk about like Reilly and Jonesy are 25 or whatever. So,
which were supposed to be a couple of years older than Katie.
Yeah.
And Wayne was a couple of years older than Katie. Not saying that they were the same age.
Yeah.
The three of them.
Yeah.
I think, I would place all of them at the beginning in their like early 20s, but we know that Bonnie McMurray was 16.
And
5 years. Okay.
Yeah, 5 years.
So more than high school at least.
Yeah.
And high school sweetie does not necessarily mean 9th grade.
No, not necessarily.
So yeah.
A week before graduation. Technically.
Right. Yeah. I met her in high school. She's my high school sweetie, I guess. Right. I don't know. I didn't have one. So
what was Wayne's dating life in high school?
I mean, it didn't sound like Angie was his first girlfriend, just his longest girlfriend.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing he was pretty popular with the ladies until they didn't get much conversation out of him. And then like Angie kind of liked that she didn't get much conversation out of him.
Yeah.
That's my theory.
Yeah.
Awesome would be like, Kiso was gorgeous in high school, so I bet.
He's always looked like that. All of his life.
He's Wayne.
That's right.
He doesn't have to do anything.
He does not age.
Right?
He is
he
the
just
portrait.
looks like that and everything falls into place.
He is the picture of Dorian Gray.
Yeah.
Let's see who's Wayne should be the best singer in Letterkenny. It'd be funny is he's the toughest guy in Letterkenny, but he could be the worst singer in Letterkenny.
And nobody will tell him.
Yeah, exactly. No one would tell him.
It's just his claim to fame.
I mean, it would be hilarious if he was the best singer. He's the best fighter and he's the best singer.
I feel like it should be like rolled or something. Like somebody that you wouldn't expect. Stoic as fuck on the way to the mic.
Shredding while he's up there.
And Stoic again. Yeah.
He would probably approach
like
he would approach it the way he does to a fight. He would walk up there, rolling up his sleeves, have the dart, do a shot.
Yep. I see that.
Then he just
and then
lays
stand
it
at
down.
attention at the microphone.
Yeah, he wouldn't move. He just stands there.
Now the thing is
and it says ACDC. Wayne is
I'm convinced there's got to be somewhere either a recording or video or just off the cuff of Wayne, maybe as Wayne, probably as Kiso, doing "Want to Be Close to Christ" and Wayne himself. And I bet as Wayne that would work, even if he is singing Wayne. But
oh man, yeah, oh Jesus.
Because I might be crazy, but that's still one of my favorite things of all the songs I've ever heard on Letterkenny.
Yeah,
that might be one of my favorites. I'm like, this should be a real song. Why is this not a real song?
Be close to Christ.
And Wayne.
My tattoo journal.
My tattoo journal. Oh, that was fun singing that on the table.
Yes, and also welcome to joining the Table Read universe.
Table Read.
Oh, well,
crew.
thank you. I saw my roles and I just worried.
Nah, you'll be fine. It'll be
I know.
fine.
Oh man, I'm sure you've watched a number of them to find out we don't take them very seriously.
No.
I mean, unless David's writing them, then
Right. David does take his work seriously, which he absolutely should.
and we take him. We do take a little extra care with his because they are new. They're
Brand
new. No one's heard them before. So
It's the debut.
that's right.
It's been so fun doing that.
So what do you say we get into a little bit of Fuck Fight Ferda? It's one of my favorite.
Not gonna lie,
games.
this is the part I'm most excited about.
Yeah.
So for anyone who doesn't know what Fuck Fight Ferda is, Fuck Fight Ferda is our version of Fuck, Marry, Kill, except we don't want to kill anybody. We definitely want to do some fighting. But
We don't really want to marry
nobody aside from the McMurrays get married.
Maybe Wayne one day.
Maybe. But
Aww.
I love Aaron. But anyway, so what we do is we're either gonna fuck them, we're gonna fight them, or they're our buddies and we say Ferda. So as we like to do, we're and caveats up front, assuming you swing that way and all is consensual, that's how these are that's how these are going. Usually we try to focus on just this particular episode, but if
but
you
it's
wish,
your first time.
if you wish, you can choose at any particular time how you overall feel about them. So we don't care either way.
Yeah.
We will choose for the particular episode, but you are free to do as you wish. But as we like to do, we will start with Wayne.
Wayne's kind of easy in this one because he didn't do much. Like Ferda all the way. He's a background character in this one.
Sure.
I'm going to say fight then Ferda.
Fight then
Yep.
Ferda.
That's how you make friends with Wayne.
That's how you make friends with Wayne.
There you go. All right. For this one, he's a Ferda for me. But that's okay. So there's sometimes where I will downright get after him, but not in this one. Katie.
Katie's also kind of just a background character in this one.
I bet I
Which
think she's
I like.
a little bit more vocal, but
Right. She's probably got a few more lines, but
yeah.
But like the main focus of this episode was definitely not the main
No.
characters.
Definitely not.
So I say Ferda. There's
Okay.
not other than like at the end where she's cute and says that the dicks can keep the dog. Like I can't think of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, you're good. Tress?
For me, in a strictly argumentative vocal way, I would probably fight Katie because she was mean to Stuart.
Dig it.
And that's one of the things that is kind of carried over and is very apparent this season is just Katie hates things.
Yeah.
That seems to be her job.
Yeah.
With vim and vigor.
Yeah. So yeah, I give her a fur to this one. I mean,
Not a talking to.
I could give her a talking to,
I'll
but
come
she
over there
wouldn't
and give
care.
you a
She would
talking
just she would just hate me about it.
Yep.
Daniels,
Daniel.
Mr. Squirrely Daniels.
He wasn't dumb to suggest his sweetie. Like Ellen totally did read those leaves, and so it wasn't a completely weird suggestion.
Mhm.
I'm gonna stick with Ferda.
All right.
The whole exchange about his name though is just like there's this part of me that's like I want to finish that conversation. I want to know, Dan, what is your last name? What is your last name? What is it?
That's one of those tropes. You're never gonna know what the last name
Never
is.
ever.
Jess?
Dan in this one, mostly because I love seeing Dan outside the context of the Hicks.
Yeah.
And probably one of the only other times I thought this was on Valentine's Day, but I'd have to fuck Dan.
Yeah.
I'm with you.
I bet he gives really good hugs and snuggles.
Oh yeah. He would. he would totally. I mean, if you were his little spoon.
Oh, it'd be so comfy.
Oh, what was that line where he goes, "How would I do there? Well, dear, you'd probably do okay. How would I do? You do great there. And, yeah, Dan. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Sure. Rosie.
I like that we get more of Rosie. I
Mhm.
like that they bring back the pit bull rescue that
Mhm.
she worked when she left Wayne the last time.
You're a
and-
great fucking gal, Rosie.
Right. And she really is. She's a really great fucking gal. And like, you know my brain. I'm literally like, but like probably monogamous with Wayne. So
I'm saying assuming everything.
consent.
Yes.
Assuming consent, like I'd be down with her.
All right.
Absolutely.
All right.
Like she's cute as fuck when she's looking for that dog. I love
Yep.
singing. Like
Can
I feel like I
confirm.
can talk her into karaoke. Like let's do it.
Jess.
I could not get naked fast enough.
That's Dean's answer too.
I mean, I would be like Bruce Almighty.
Oh no. I mean, for me, loving and caring for a dog is sexy.
Oh, yeah.
Right? It really
Yep.
is.
Can confirm. Gaylor.
Ferda. She only had the one scene.
True.
It was great. I'm sure it was hilarious. Hockey players, same boat as you, Trace. Like I don't know. I knew like 2 of those names, but I knew it was funny.
Say,
There were names.
who's your favorite player?
Gabriel Longest Cock.
Right there. Yeah, so Ferda for me.
All right. Jess.
I've always said about Gail that I would. I'm fearful, but my curiosity would get the better of me.
Uh-huh.
All right.
And
You're
I'd be
gonna-
like, so, yeah,
You're going to learn something every time new.
Yeah,
every time
exactly,
with Gaylor.
exactly.
Yeah. So yeah. And I
should say no, but I don't know if I can.
yeah. I already said yes in episode 1 just because because in that one she had the moves and I was
And she
getting
had some control in that one too.
I mean controlled moves, which
Mhm.
yeah, I'm with that. But this episode, but yeah. But yeah, I totally get what you're saying there. Bonnie.
Same as Gail for me.
Mm.
Ferda.
Yeah.
Really love seeing more of Bonnie. I know I said that already.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm always happy when she has more than like one line.
Yeah, she's definitely maturing a lot
Mhm.
in her role, and
I like the snarkiness she's bringing to the
Yes.
character without
Yes.
it being angry like Katie.
yes, she's got some good sarcasm.
Yes.
I do kind of like at this point with Bonnie, especially when you noticed it at the end of Chips,
Mhm.
is they're kind of looking at Bonnie as like the lone voice of reason sometimes.
Yes,
A little
agreed,
bit, yeah.
agreed.
And it's like, and in that instance, like Ferda, I mean, I want somebody to, if I was there sitting there going, are all these people crazy? And have her explain to me, no,
fuck is
but
happening? Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. I'm Ferda for me on this one as well. Glenn. Really? Taking that hard?
I mean,
what do you
So I'm gonna say Ferda, but the reason why I'm like, is because my brain was basically saying the same things I was saying about Rosie. Whereas like I like the enthusiasm you had for saving the dog and like the singing was fun and all of that. But it's still Ferda.
All right.
It's still Ferda.
I mean, was it potentially a fuck almost?
Yeah, kind of maybe.
All right. Okay. No, that's fine.
he did find the dog, TR.
He did.
did.
He did. He absolutely did.
if you need something
look-
to swing you one way or the other.
Horses.
Oh.
Horses.
Also, the horses. This is actually something I didn't go back and look at, but was horses mentioned more than once before Wayne said it? Because I
Yes.
know Ellen said it, but
Yeah.
Wayne wasn't in the room when Ellen said it. Was it said before that?
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
when they were they were talking about the
'Cause
be near
I had
horses.
missed
Yeah.
that every time then because I was like, wait.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't
Was
just
he in
he,
the same
it
room?
wasn't just because he liked horses. So.
Like me driving my horses, I have to say horse.
For Glenn, I'll say this
Dad
much:
joke.
I have thought all three about him at one point or another. But in this
Mhm.
one, you know, it's Ferda because my man's out looking for dogs, you know, and
Yeah.
he's
I
given it
agree.
his all, and he's put the time in and the effort, and
it's important to him. It's something that he is proud that he can do. Yeah.
at that point, all you want to do is support somebody and say, "You go get it, Glenn."
Yep.
You can do it. And his buddy, his good buddy Wayne's going with him.
Wayne.
His bestie. His new bestie.
His new bestie.
That didn't last long.
Go bestie every week.
Steert.
Ferda. He did not deserve getting yelled at by Katie, but the rest of it was just comedy.
All right. Just
Stuart, I'm going to go with Ferda. I mean, there are times that I've wanted to fight him, but not this time. And like Tiara said, that was mean.
It was over the top.
It was a moot
unnecessary.
point.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's to that I would have expected Roll to go, "Hey, bitch."
Right. Right. Unlike the last episode.
However, in that instance, Wayne would have probably gotten up.
Yeah.
And that would have been trouble. Roldy.
Fuck.
All right.
He
Get
was
after
very
it.
concerned for the well-being of that dog.
Yes,
Very concerned.
he was.
And he was really excited about psychic stuff and drinking the tea and his facial expressions while he's drinking the tea. And he's, even when he got it wrong and only did
Like it's
2 instead of
magic or
3.
something.
Right?
Yeah.
Rolled Ferda only because if I was there in the same situation, I would be a basket case just like Rolled was.
Mm-hmm.
And I would like, let's just hang out here and freak out together.
Yeah, I think I'm Ferda on Rolled as well.
I always want to just like put him in my pocket, you know, just keep him safe.
All right. Ellen.
Ferda.
All right.
She was only in the tea leaves this time, really, and
Yeah.
while it
2
was,
scenes.
it was clever. Yeah, it didn't do much for me, but I do like that what I was saying about how she mentioned she'd love it if Dan, you know, called her more and sex.
Yeah. Tress?
I got a spot for her finger.
All right.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
No, I mean but every time she comes on, it's always so random almost.
Mhm.
You know, just apropos of nothing, but she always kills it when she's there. And I mean, part of you goes, my sweetie Ellen's, you know, reads tea leaves. Of course she does.
Of course she does. Yes.
And then she, and when you get to the scene, is like, wow, she apparently knows what she's doing with this tea leaf reading thing. Another, you know, layer to the, you know, Ellen. And it's like, I don't know. I've always just thought she was super pretty and
Very.
super cool and apparently super smart. And
she gives massages.
Yes. And
Dude, I forgot about that.
Mm-hmm.
That might put it over to fuck for me. I need a massage.
and like I said, I know where she can put the finger.
There you go.
Dig it.
Maybe 2. Reilly and Jonesy.
Oh, dipshits.
Reilly and Jonesy did not deserve what they got in this episode.
Nope. And they tried. They were
They
were
tried
patient.
to be nice about it. Yeah.
They were patient. They understood but they explained, you know, why they couldn't do that. I mean, it's, you know, sports things have their rituals and their superstitions. And as we know, Reilly and Jonesy are not the most with it folks, as far as it comes to being able to handle emotions, especially while they're playing. So, you know, I understand, that we can't, I can't, I'm playing a game and I need to focus on the game. And I hope you understand that because you were fucking late and you didn't call. And I'm not calling you out on that. And I'm not even saying a thing.
Right. They didn't say a damn thing. They were just like, yeah.
No, they completely explained it.
Yeah.
And like, even when they were saying it, you almost got the sense they were saying, look, yes, we know it's dumb. But
yeah,
this is how it is, and almost thank you for understanding. But they apparently didn't, and then they showed up, and it's like they weren't mean about it. Like they weren't saying like "fuck no, you ain't coming to our game." They were like, look, here's how it works.
Yep.
And they just took it super personally, and
they came all the way from the city.
That.
You know what? If you're saying you came all the way from the city, maybe you should have fucking called.
Right. Right. Like if your brother's late with the car and you can't leave the city until you get the car, call the people you're going to meet and say, hey, I don't have the car yet. Can we reschedule?
Sure.
Or
exactly.
Can we meet up later? And the boys can be, now we got plans for later, but we can do this another day.
Yeah.
And then everybody's happy. But they were rude and
you didn't have to be
manners.
Didn't have to be a dick about it.
Right. So like I still say Ferda because those boys share a brain cell and I do not that they just they're like walking STDs to me. I can't do it.
That's proven.
But would you fuck Dax and Ron?
Probably.
And they
do not share a brain cell. They are both individually with brains.
But they are also
Absolutely
walking STDs.
Yes. But they go to the doctor about it and take their medicine and stuff. So not shaming anybody unless with those boys. I am shaming them. I should say that because
anyway,
it's not like there's not a ton of research out there, guys.
Right.
They have a hard time focusing on the puck.
Let's see. Reilly and Jonesy. Ferda, you just want to pull them over to the side and go, guys, look.
My dudes.
This is probably just going to go bad to worse. So
I think
probably don't read anything into it. You just feel bad for them because they did it right. I mean,
yeah, they did.
It was a bad situation. They explained themselves as only Reilly and Jonesy can, and the girls just went ham on them. And it's like, wait a fucking minute.
They kind of saved themselves from a couple of cunts, really.
Yeah. Don't be
Ferda.
Yeah.
All right, and I think I know where we're all going to be on this one. April and May. I'm putting them together too.
Fight those bitches. Man, I will plump up her lips for free.
With a headbutt. Boom.
And I would corral them so Tiara could fight them. Over here. Get him, Tiara.
Just bouncing them back in.
You always call.
That's why you always leave a note.
Yep.
Tiara over there teaching lessons with fists at the same time.
Yep.
That would be actually be really fun.
So we're all fighting them
because I'd throw two punches and then my elbow would go out and I would be disabled for a while.
All right. Also, wasn't in much, but Avi.
Oh, right. He was in the opener.
Yeah. It's good to see him back.
Ferda, hope to see more of Avi. I like Avi.
Ferda, definitely. I like him as a new character. I hope they keep working him in.
Yeah, and nice guy too. Dan Harush.
And I like that they're bringing back characters that we've only seen a couple times, like him and like Ellen. And like it's this show is such a great collaborative show with such great characters that the more they bring in, the better, not the worse. Like in other shows, honestly, like it's just adding to the richness of the story. And
and the characters are being established so well for how small a piece of the show that they're on.
Right.
I mean, I'm trying to think of someone who's done more with less than Avi, Mia Sophia.
This was the second episode, I think, with Avi. Is that right? This is the second time we've seen Avi, or the third?
There will be a third.
There will be a third.
Yeah,
Right,
there's one more
this
in this.
season.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I realized he got basically his whole own show last season, but
Mm-hmm.
you know,
It was a good
the
show.
way
It was fun.
the way it was treated this season was like, oh yeah, it's Avi, cool. Of course he's with them. You know,
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
they don't make it a
It's a-
whole thing anymore. And
it's a
the
mitzvah.
same way with the dicks, kind of after 3 completely dick-centric episodes, they've settled in. Yeah, that sounded funny.
Yeah. They've got some good jokes now without it being so overboard like Shorzy, where we're tired of it.
And there's new ones.
And
They
keep coming up with new dicks.
right. Yeah.
New
there's-
dick jokes.
And it works good as a part of an episode.
Yeah.
I think it's I think even they realized during the making of the 3rd dick episode that, you know, we've taken this about as far as we can at holding down a whole episode. But it's very nice that they made them part of the overall, you know, grouping of people in the show.
Yeah.
Oh, man, sorry. And finally, Shorzy.
Oh, fight.
Shorzy makes Tiara violent.
I know it's not an answer,
Shorzy in the
but
Shorzy TV show doesn't.
Yeah.
But in Shorzy and Letterkenny makes me want to scrap. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I honestly, on this one, and I know it's not a real answer, but I'd almost be like indifferent and just like,
I get that.
go back to Sudbury. You're more fun there, you know.
So
But I
kick
mean,
his
if I
ass
had
back.
to, probably just fight him. Yeah.
Yeah.
Reilly and Jonesy do not know how to take a chirp and stand up for themselves without, like, it's all personal, and they do it every time. And Shorzy knows that. He's never going to stop with them because they are such easy marks for him. So, like, you rarely see Shorzy chirping any other players. Maybe on the other team, maybe. But like,
I can't remember who said it, but I'm sorry, Tiara, go ahead.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
I can't remember who said it, but one time, how could anybody apparently have been in organized hockey for as long as Reilly and Jonesy have and still get upset about a chirp about their mom?
Yeah.
Oh, and I'm sorry. I was not done, but go ahead.
Oh.
I got 2 more.
Oh, okay. Yeah. But anyway.
Yeah.
I agree with you on that for sure.
Because I did leave them off the list, but I just remembered because of we talked Anita Dick.
Oh, right. She was so cute and jumping up and down when she got to keep the puppy.
She's
Oh,
a
God,
swinger.
so was I.
She is a swinger. She is a swinger.
I would take Anita to Pound
I
Town.
believe Anita would be a lot of fun. I believe that
And a
Anita
horse-drawn
is,
carriage.
Yeah.
like she knew exactly what her kids were doing because she done all those things and likes all those things, probably still does them with her husband, and that's why he's so like because she's totally his dom.
Yeah.
And it's like they've got a beautiful relationship, and she's so soft and sweet to everybody and seems so like demure and but she knows the jokes, she gets the jokes. I think that's why she's the one who usually starts the giggling, and then he's following her lead. Yeah, I'm sorry, fuck her.
I'd probably have to go with Ferda with her, because if I had picked fuck her, I'd be like confused as to what we were doing. It's like, you know, we're going, you know.
Well, she's going to be
Take
taking
a look
charge.
at my gash. What? Okay. What am I doing here?
Evidently, Anita's also good at teaching scissoring.
Right.
So yeah,
yeah, it'd have to be Ferda only for the confusion factor that would arise.
No, she's going to direct the event, I'm sure. So
oh yeah, that's a good point. So
okay,
you just have to lay
find
back
a way to get confused.
Enjoy. I'm confused while you're fucking me.
Oh, look at my gash.
How about Noah? That's who our final one is. Unless I've missed anybody.
Ferda. He's so awkward.
He is.
It'd have to be Ferda, but it would be like you know, you're at a party and you like see someone and you're like, "Hey man, how's it going?" And they say something and that will be awkward, and you're like, "Oh, hi man, good to see you."
Yeah.
I am blessed this day.
I'm gonna go over here now.
Well, good for you.
But good to see you again.
Yeah. So I think that's all I got. I mean, unless
Yeah.
there's somebody I've missed.
No, I think you got them all.
All right.
Tannis is always up. She wasn't in this
Oh
episode.
my God.
That's
No.
okay.
But we can think about it.
Except the episode where she was like misogynistic toward Wayne.
Oh, yeah.
Other than that, fuck every time.
Yeah.
I could get over that.
I believe you.
Yeah, it's just the one time. So, so any final thoughts on this before we sign off? Nothing. Anybody?
I just really like this episode. I want to thank you for letting me review it, but I really like this episode because it allowed a lot of the other sometimes background characters to come forward and
agreed
have the spotlight.
Yeah.
Agreed. Hang with us a bit, but in the meantime, Maestro.
Bye, everybody.
Thanks for tuning in to another episode of How Are You Now with your favorite group of Hicks skids, hockey players, Christians, and DJs. We hope you enjoyed our chat with Dress today, and we look forward to having them back in the future. Joining us next week will be our good buddy Renee Encarnacion, who will be here to chat about Season 11, Episode 4, Nudes. Don't forget to subscribe to our podcast and leave us a rating or review. And, until next time, keep your heads up and don't be spare parts, bud.